Hi students. Now today I will explain power and collision concept. First of all, power. What is meant by power? Power is defined as the rate of doing work is called power. So power P equal to work done divided by time taken. P equal to W by T. That is called power. Now the units of power work joule, time is in second, that we call watt, and the other unit of the power is horsepower, equal to 746 watts. 1 horsepower equal to 746 watts. The power of the motors and power of engines are expressed in terms of horsepower. Power is a scalar quantity. Power is a scalar quantity. Now we define instantaneous power. Instantaneous power, P instant, defined as limit delta t tends to 0 delta w by delta t, that equal to dw by dt. This is called instantaneous power equal to dw by dt. Limit delta t tends to 0 delta w by delta t equal to dw by dt. Now power P equal to work done by time. We know that work equal to force dot S bar, means F bar dot S bar by T. Again F bar dot S bar by T. S bar by T, displacement by time, is called velocity. Therefore F bar dot V bar, that is Fv cos theta. Power P equal to Fv cos theta. It is the dot product of force and velocity. When we draw the graph between work and time, it is like this. The slope of this work time graph, that is tan theta equal to dw, this we say that dt, dw by dt, we get instantaneous power. The slope of work time graph will give power, and the area under PT graph, power and time graph, will give work. The area of PT graph equal to work W. The slope of work time graph will give power. The area under PT graph will give work. Power P equal to F into V, then power P equal to F, means F equal to ma into V, then P equal to ma into acceleration, means dV by dt into V, which implies P dt equal to m into V dV. Integrating on both sides, integral P dt equal to integral mv dV, which implies m into V square by 2 equal to Pt plus C. Integral P dt means T, integral dt means T, that is mv square by T. If at T equal to 0, then velocity also 0, means initial velocity 0, therefore C equal to 0. Therefore mv square by 2 equal to P into T. Therefore V square equal to 2 Pt by m. Therefore velocity V equal to square root of 2 Pt by m. If P constant, then velocity V is directly proportional to T power 1 by 2. If power constant, then velocity directly proportional to T power 1 by 2, that is V1 by V2 equal to T1 by T2 whole power 1 by 2. Again, v equal to square root of 2p t by m. We know that velocity means rate of change of displacement. ds by dt equal to square root of 2p t by m, which implies ds equal to square root of 2p t by m into dt. Again, integrating on both sides, integral ds equal to integral square root of 2pt by m into dt. That is s, integral ds means s equal to root 2p by m constant taken out, integral t power 1 by 2 dt. That is s equal to root 2p by m into t power 3 by 2, 1 by 2 plus 1 by 1 by 2 plus 1, that is s clearly proportional to t power 3 by 2. So s1 by s2 equal to t1 by t2 whole power 3 by 2. So if power constant, then displacement proportional to t power 3 by 2. Therefore s1 by s2 equal to t1 by t2 whole power 3 by 2. Now the general application of the power. Consider a gun or a machine gun fires n bullets per second. It fires n bullets per second, and m is the mass of each bullet. M is the mass of each bullet, and v is the velocity of the bullet. It fires n bullets per second. So the power of the gun equal to number of bullets per second into energy of each bullet, half mv square. So a machine gun fires n bullets per second. M is the mass of the each bullet and v is the velocity of the bullet. Then the power of the gun P equal to half mv square into n, where n is the number of bullets per second, m is the mass of each bullet, and v is the velocity of the bullet. Suppose a crane lifts a body of mass m with constant velocity v. A crane lifts a body of mass m with constant velocity v. Then the power P equal to force into velocity. Here force F equal to mg, that equal to mg into v. Power of crane P equal to force into velocity, that is mg into v. Mg is the weight of this body. And the power of human heart is equal to volume of blood pumped per second, into blood pressure. The power of human heart equal to volume of the blood pumped per second into blood pressure, that is P by T into H rho G. So this is the power of human heart equal to volume of blood pumped per second into blood pressure, that equal to V by T into H rho G. A body, next example, a body moving with constant velocity on rough surface, then power required P equal to frictional force into velocity, that equal to mu mg into v. Power required P equal to F into v, that is mu mg, frictional force mu mg into velocity, means work done to overcome the friction into velocity v. Similarly, if a vehicle moving on smooth inclined plane with constant velocity v up, a vehicle moving up with constant velocity v on smooth inclined plane. Theta is the angle of inclination. Then its power or power of engine equal to mg sin theta into velocity. Here the downward force acting on the body is mg sin theta. Therefore, power of the engine P equal to mg sin theta into velocity. Suppose if same body moving on rough inclined plane with constant velocity v on rough inclined plane, then the power of engine equal to mg into sin theta plus mu cos theta into v. It is moving on rough inclined plane with velocity constant velocity v, then power of engine equal to p equal to mg into sin theta plus mu cos theta into v. It is moving on smooth inclined plane. The power of engine P equal to mg sin theta into V. Suppose if a engine or a motor lift the water from well of depth h with velocity v, then the power of the motor equal to mgh plus half mv square by t, work done by time. So now it will lift the water from well of depth h and with velocity v, then power p equal to mgh plus half mv square by t is the time taking. So power equal to work by time, that is mgh plus half mv square, m common, so m into gh plus v square by 2 divided by t. So this is the power of engine. Next one, a conveyor belt is moving with constant velocity v. Sugar or sand is falling on the belt at the rate dm by dt. Sugar or sand falling on the belt at the rate of dm by dt. So what happened? The velocity of the belt gradually decreases. Now force required to maintain the velocity v, external force required to maintain the velocity v, F equal to v into dm by dt. Now we need extra power required to maintain the constant velocity v. Extra power P equal to force into velocity, that is force means v into dm by dt into v, that is v square into dm by dt. This is the extra power required to maintain the constant velocity v. Very important one. Next one, if a body projected with velocity u making an angle theta with horizontal, it follow the parabolic path. It follow the parabolic path. Now, at any time t seconds, p is the position of the particle. Then, what is the instantaneous power at this time? Power P equal to F bar dot V bar, dot product of force and velocity. Here, the force acting on the body, that is the weight of the body, mg. Therefore, F equal to mg into minus g cap, because acting vertically downward. And the velocity of the particle at this, it has two velocities, x component of velocity, y component of velocity. It has two velocities, that is vx I cap plus vy j cap. Already we know that vx, that is u cos theta I cap, vy, that is u sin theta minus gt j cap, that is the velocity. Therefore, the instantaneous power P equal to F bar dot V bar, that is minus mg j cap dot u cos theta I cap plus u sin theta minus gt into j cap. We know that j cap dot I cap equal to 0. Therefore, P equal to minus mg. Now j cap dot j cap 1 into u sin theta minus gt. So this is the instantaneous power of the body at any time t seconds during its motion. And next topic is collisions. Collision is an isolated event. Collision is an isolated event in which large impulsive force acting for small time interval. During the collision, large impulsive force acting for small time interval, due to which its momentum and energy will be changes. That is called collision. During the collision, large impulsive force acting for small time interval. And moreover, during the collision, bodies may or may not physically contact with each other. It is not compulsory, may or may not physically contact with each other. Now, based on kinetic energy, collisions are divided into three categories. One is elastic collision. Elastic collision or perfect elastic collision. Second one, semi elastic collisions. And third one, inelastic perfectly inelastic collision based on the conservation of kinetic energy. Means in elastic collision, both momentum and kinetic energy are conserved. Means total kinetic energy before collision equal total kinetic energy after collision. Total momentum before collision equal total momentum after collision. In semi-elastic collision, only momentum is conserved, kinetic energy is not conserved. And perfectly inelastic collision, in this only momentum is conserved, kinetic energy is not conserved, but after collision, the both bodies are moving with common velocity. I mean they are stick together. That is the difference between semi-elastic collision and perfectly inelastic collision. Now, based on direction, these are two types. That is one-dimensional elastic collision and two-dimensional collision. Means before and after collision, if bodies are moving in same direction, that is called one-dimensional collision. Before and after collision, bodies are moving along same direction. That is called one-dimensional elastic collision. If bodies are moving in a plane before and after collision, that is called two-dimensional collision. Now discuss one by one. First, elastic collision. So clearly in this elastic collision, momentum and kinetic energy are conserved. So one-dimensional elastic collision. Consider two bodies of masses m1 and m2 are moving with velocities u1 and u2. u1 is greater than u2 in the same direction. They collide each other. After collision, they are moving with velocities. We say that v1 and v2. So here it is a one-dimensional elastic collision. So now two bodies of masses m1 m2 are moving with velocities u1 and u2. Clearly we say that u1 greater than u2. They collide each other. After collision, they are moving with velocities v1 v2 in the same direction. So clearly before and after collision, bodies are moving along same direction. So it is a one-dimensional collision. Now this is before collision, at the time of collision, after collision. So it is a elastic collision. So momentum and kinetic energy are conserved. So according to law of conservation of momentum, total momentum before collision equal total momentum after collision. Total momentum before collision equal to total momentum after collision. That is m1 u1. Momentum means mass into velocity. m1 u1 plus m2 u2 equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Equation number 1. Total momentum before collision equal to total momentum after collision. Similarly, kinetic energy also conserved. So law of conservation of kinetic energy. The kinetic energy before collision equal to kinetic energy of the bodies after collision. So now kinetic energy means half mv square. The kinetic energy of first body half m1 u1 square plus for second body half m2 u2 square equal to after collision half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. Total kinetic energy before collision equal to total kinetic energy after collision. Equation number 2. So that both momentum and kinetic energy are conserved. Now solving these two, we get velocities of the bodies. That is v1 equal to means velocity of the body after collision. v1 equal to m1 minus m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 plus 2m2 by m1 plus m2 into u2. So velocity of the first body after collision v1 equal to m1 minus m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 plus 2m2 by m1 plus m2 into u2, and for second body v2 equal to 2m1 by m1 plus m2 into u1 plus m2 minus m1 by m1 plus m2 into u2. So these are the velocities of the first and second body after collision. Now discuss different cases. Case 1. If m1 equal to m2 means both are identical mass, two bodies are identical mass. Therefore, v1 equal to, here substitute here m1 minus m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 plus 2m2 by m1 plus m2 into u2. So clearly we get this one 0 because m1 equal to m2. v1 equal to u2. Similarly v2 equal to u1. Means velocities are interchange. Velocities are interchange after collision. And case 2. If u2 equal to 0 means second body at rest before collision. Second body at rest before collision. Then what is the velocity of the bodies after collision? Substitute this u2 in above equation. We get v1 equal to m1 minus m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1, and for second body v2 equal to 2m1 by m1 plus m2 into u1. So these are the velocities of the bodies after collision if u2 equal to 0. Now case 3. If m1 equal to m2 comma u2 equal to 0. m1 equal to m2, u2 equal to 0. Then what we get? Substitute here v1 equal to 0 and v2 equal to u1. Means after collision first body come to rest and second body will move with velocity of the first body. v1 equal to 0, v2 equal to u1. And next case 4. If m2 is much greater than m1, m2 much greater than m1 and u2 0 means heavy body is at rest, lighter body collide. u2 0, m u2 0, then what is the velocities after collision? v1 equal to m1 minus m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1. But here m2 is much greater than m1. so that this value m1 minus m2 is nearly equal to minus u1, almost all same, and v2 equal to 2 m1 by m1 plus m2 into u1. So here m2 is much greater than m1, so this almost equal to 0. Means first body reflected back with the same speed and second body remains at rest. And next case 5, if lighter heavy body m1 is much greater than m2 and u2 0, u2 0, then we get different. Now here m1 much greater than m2 and u2 0. So clearly m1 is much greater than m2, u2 0, then v1 equal to m1 minus m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1, and almost this value m1 is much greater than m2 is also equal to this value equal to 1, so almost equal to u1, and for v2 equal to 2 m1 by m1 plus m2 into u1, that is 2 into u1 by 1 plus m2 by m1. So here m1 is much greater than m2 almost equal to 2 u1. So these are the velocities after collision. Now here one more important, to study the nature of the collision or types of collision, we define a quantity that is called coefficient of restitution, denoted by E, is defined as the relative velocities of the bodies after collision divided by relative velocities before collision. E equal to V2 minus V1 by U1 minus U2. E equal to V2 minus V1 by U1 minus U2. E have no units and dimensions. For elastic collision, E equal to 1 implies V2 minus V1 equal to U1 minus U2. Relative velocities of the bodies before collision equal to after collision, E equal to 1. That is for perfectly elastic collision. For semi-elastic collision, E lies between 0 and 1. E lies between 0 and 1. And for perfectly inelastic collision, E equal to 0. E equal to 0. So for semi-elastic collision, E lies between 0 and 1. 0 and 1 means 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 like that. And perfectly elastic collision, E equal to 0. So E depends on nature of material of the body, nature of materials of the body. For semi-elastic collision, the velocities of the bodies after collision V1 equal to m1 minus em2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 plus 1 plus e into m2 divided by m1 plus m2 into u2, and v2 equal to 1 plus e into m1 by m1 plus m2 into u1 plus m2 minus e m1 by m1 plus m2 into u2. So these are the final velocities of the bodies in semi-elastic collision. Now if u2 equal to 0 means second body at rest, therefore v1 equal to m1 minus e m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 V2 equal to 1 plus E into M1 by M1 plus M2 into U1. These are the velocities V1 and V2. Now if U2 equal to 0, comma M1 equal to M2, therefore V1 equal to 1 minus E by 2 into U1, V2 equal to 1 plus E by 2 into U1. Now ratio between them V1 by V2 equal to 1 minus E by 1 plus E. Very very important one. If U2 equal to 0, M1 equal to M2, then the ratio of velocities in semi-elastic collision V1 by V2 equal to 1 minus E by 1 plus E. Now the loss of energy during semi-elastic collision delta E equal to half M1 M2 by M1 plus M2 into U1 minus U2 whole square into 1 minus E square. The loss of energy during the semi-elastic collision equal to half M1 M2 by M1 plus M2 into U1 minus U2 whole square into 1 minus E whole square. If U2 equal to 0, then delta E equal to half M1 M2 by M1 plus M2 into U1 square into 1 minus E square. U1 square into 1 minus E square. Now this expression may be written as delta E equal to half. This we call reduced mass mu into U relative whole square into 1 minus E square, where mu is the reduced mass of the two bodies, that is M1 M2 by M1 plus M2. Next one is perfectly inelastic collision. Perfectly inelastic collision. Perfectly inelastic collision. When suppose two bodies of masses m1 and m2 are moving with velocities u1 and u2, u1 greater than u2, they collide each other. After collision, they are stick together. When they are moving with common velocity, we say that v. Before collision, and this is the after collision. So in this case, momentum is conserved. So according to law of conservation of momentum, m1 u1 plus m2 u2 equal to m1 plus m2 into v. Therefore, the common velocity v equal to m1 u1 plus m2 u2 by m1 plus m2. So this is the expression for common velocity, and the loss of energy during this collision delta E equal to, so clearly here E equal to 0, therefore half m1 m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 minus u2 whole square, u1 minus u2 whole square, because E equal to 0. This is the loss of energy. Suppose if bodies are moving in opposite direction, so if bodies are moving opposite direction before collision, they are moving in opposite direction like this. Then common velocity v equal to m1 u1 minus m2 u2 by m1 plus m2. And in this case, loss of energy equal to half m1 m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 plus u2 whole square. It is maximum. So here half m1 m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 minus u2 whole square. Here u1 plus u2 whole square. Why? Because they are moving in opposite direction. Here they are moving in same direction. Next one, suppose a ball dropped from a height h1. After hitting the floor, it rebounds to a height h2. A ball is dropped from a height h1. After hitting the floor, it rebounds to a height h2. Therefore, h2 equal to e square into h1. h2 means here E is the coefficient of restitution. E equal to square root of h2 by h1. Squaring on both sides, E square equal to h2 by h1. h2 equal to E square into h1. Then the height raised by the ball after nth collision, hn equal to e power 2n into h. hn equal to e power 2n into h, and the velocity after nth collision vn equal to e power n into v. Velocity after nth collision. The height raised by the ball after nth collision. And a ball dropped from a height h1. On hitting the floor, it rebounds to a height h1, and again this is h, and this is, we say that h1, and again h2, and so on. The total distance traveled by the ball before coming to rest, d equal to h into 1 plus e square by 1 minus e square. D equal to h into 1 plus e square by 1 minus e square. Next one, two-dimensional collision. Two-dimensional elastic collision. For example, if two bodies of masses m1 and m2 are moving with velocities u1 and u2, u1 is greater than u2, are traveling along same direction, collide with each other. After collision, the bodies are moving with velocities v1, m1 moving with velocity v1, and m2 is moving with velocity v2, making an angle alpha beta with horizontal. So here after collision they are moving in plane. Before collision they are moving along same straight line. Now here after collision velocities of the first one v1, v2. Now resolve the components for this one. v1 cos alpha along this direction, along this one v1 sin alpha, for this v2 cos beta, and here it is v2 sin beta. Momentum and energy are conserved. First along x-axis, momentum before collision equal momentum after collision, that is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 equal to m1 v1 cos alpha plus m2 v2 cos beta, equation number 1. And along y-axis, before there is no velocity, 0 equal to m1 v1 sin alpha minus m2 v2 sin beta, because it's moving down, equation number 2. And apply the law of conservation of energy before and after collision, that is law of conservation of energy, that is half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square equal to half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square, equation number 3. Solving these equations we get final velocities. So because here after collision they are moving in plane, so two-dimensional plane. So this is called a two-dimensional collision.